Greece held a national election yesterday, and the center-right New Democracy Party won an outright majority of the parliament. They will now get to form a single-party majority government. They won't have to rely on any other parties for support. This is very rare in Europe, and this is a dramatic upset. The previous government was over 48% Syriza, the coalition of the radical left. Syriza got to rule Greece almost as an outright majority. Now, unfortunately, New Democracy is what I would call a very weak center-right party. I've been critical of them in the past. They're big allies with Merkel's CDU in Germany. They were one of the parties in the EPP that called for Fidesz to be kicked out. But maybe they will surprise me. So they've got all the power they need to implement their agenda over the next few years. So we're going to see what they can do. So here's the situation. New Democracy got 40% of the vote and 52.6% of the seats. And you're probably thinking, why did they get such a disproportionately high percentage of the seats? In 2015, Syriza, the coalition of the radical left, got about 36% of the vote and 48.3% of the seats. Here's how that's happening. For the past 15 years, Greece has had proportional representation, but with a jackpot of seats to the first place party. So there's 300 seats in the Hellenic Parliament. 50 of those go to the first place party as a jackpot. What's happening is whatever party comes in first place gets a wildly disproportionately high amount of seats. Now, if they did not have this jackpot, New Democracy would have only gotten about 44 to 45% of the seats. Now, this is the last election that this jackpot of 50 seats is going to take place. Syriza wanted to end the jackpot scheme starting this election, but to change the election law, they needed a 2/3 supermajority in parliament. New Democracy wouldn't go along with that. They would only go along with ending it in the election after this election. So New Democracy played that well, giving them this plurality where they can rule outright. There's two right-wing parties that were running. There's Greek Solutions, which got 3.5% and a small amount of seats. Golden Dawn has been winning seats since 2012. They only got 2.9%, which was below the 3% threshold. So this is the first time in a while that Golden Dawn hasn't won any seats. In the EU election, Greek Solutions and Golden Dawn got about 4.5% each, and they each won a seat. One reason that Greek Solutions and Golden Dawn probably did lower than they had originally been expected to perform is once New Democracy started polling in the high 30s, the other parties on the right started to drop, and it looked like there was a bandwagon effect. People knew that with the 50-seat bonus, New Democracy only had to get into the high 30s, and so people who were originally going to vote for Greek Solutions and Golden Dawn probably changed their mind and decided to vote for New Democracy over the course of the past week or two. Now, these other parties that won seats are all very left-wing parties. So this is Movement for Change, which is basically what's left of the former Pan-Hellenic Socialist movement. It used to be that New Democracy and the Pan-Hellenic Socialist movement were the two main parties, and then Syriza displaced the Pan-Hellenic Socialist movement as the main left-wing party. This is the Communist Party of Greece, and it's one of the largest parties left in Europe that is still actually using the name communist. And then this was a new left-wing party, MERA 25. Now, Movement for Change, the former Pan-Hellenic Socialist Movement, they are very globalist, very pro-EU. The Syriza is a lot harder to place. It was created by cobbling a huge amount of small parties together, and they're kind of all over the map. It's like a big tent left-wing party, but they're anti-war, more anti-establishment. They are not fully on board with the EU. A lot of people would call it a Eurosceptic party. The Soros think tanks don't actually like Syriza. It is what they refer to as a non-reliable partner, whereas Movement for Change is what the Soros think tanks would say is a reliable partner. Now, of the parties that made the 3% threshold, 48.5% voted for a left-wing party, 43.6% voted for a party on the right. The left still got over 50% of the votes. The electorate did not actually change as much as what is reflected in the distribution of seats because of this 50-seat jackpot. However, as I said earlier, starting with the next election, we're no longer going to see 1/6 of the entire parliament going to the first place party as a jackpot prize. So it's going to change a lot in the future. So as I said, New Democracy doesn't really excite me very much as a party. Hopefully they'll surprise me and they'll do something good. We'll just have to wait and see. There are some other elections coming up that I'm much more excited about. On September 1st, 2 of the former East German states are holding elections, Saxony and Brandenburg. Now, Saxony is where Alternative for Deutschland came in first place in the 2017 German general election, and they also came in first place in this state in the recent EU election. And they also do well in Brandenburg. And then closer to Halloween, the former East German state of Thuringen or Thuringia is holding their election. And it's another state where Alternative for Deutschland does very well. We're headed towards a big showdown with Merkel and the CDU. Right now, Angela Merkel is just going totally crazy and vowing that no CDU parties anywhere in Germany will ever coalition with the AfD, and she's threatening party members with punishment if they even suggest that CDU should form a coalition with the AfD somewhere. Well, in Saxony, the AfD could very well come in first place, and the AfD and the CDU will probably take over 50% of the parliament. If the CDU does not form a coalition with the AfD in Saxony, they will have to reach out to the far left. They will have to include the Green Party. This could be very explosive. This will be seen as betrayal by some CDU voters. This could begin an unraveling of Merkel's party in East Germany. Also in late September is the snap election in Austria. It looks like the Austrian Freedom Party is going to rebound and get around 20% of the vote. In November, 3 of the Italian states are holding elections, and I've had some previous videos where I said that one by one, the states are flipping from the center-left coalition to the center-right coalition. Currently, the center-right coalition is completely dominated by Matteo Salvini's Lega Party. Well, all 3 of the states up for grab in November are currently controlled by the center-left coalition, so there's 3 more chances to flip an Italian state. One of them is Emilia-Romagna, which is a long-time socialist stronghold. Well, recently there were some municipal elections in Emilia-Romagna, and there was a few cities that had been under socialist control for decades and decades that flipped to the center-right coalition. So things look very promising there, and I think those elections are going to be very exciting. All right, thanks for watching this video. Click the like button, post a comment, tell me what you think, and please consider making a donation to this YouTube channel, as YouTube has mass demonetized all my videos. And I would like to thank Roy and Lee for making donations. And please support my sponsor, Patriotic Flags, the online flag store, patriotic-flags.com. Get yourself a Greek flag. And click the subscribe button. New video every few days.